News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. Several Americans were hurt in a missile attack on a Kuwaiti airbase as a White House meeting to discuss extending the ceasefire with Iran ended without conclusion or announcements from President Trump. Bloomberg's Wendy Benjaminson has more from Washington.
We haven't heard anything yet, although we are expecting that we will hear from him this morning, particularly about the injuries to a handful of American troops at a U.S. base in Kuwait. That, given the fact that he apparently wasn't ready to sign this agreement after the discussion in the Situation Room, I don't think this event will push him any closer toward being willing to sign an agreement with Iran.
That's Bloomberg's Wendy Benjaminson on Bloomberg This Weekend. A White House official says Trump will only make a deal that satisfies his red lines, including Iran ending its nuclear program and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Ship owners are increasingly optimistic now about a pickup in traffic through Hormuz after more vessels left the waterway this week. Some ships that have crossed belong to companies that haven't moved since this war started with Iran 4 months ago. The movement has the potential now to boost the flow of everything from oil and gas to consumer goods and could also boost oil tanker earnings. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth praised U.S. partnerships and stable ties with China while speaking at a security summit overnight in Singapore. Bloomberg editor-at-large Haslinda Amin is there.
It is a balancing act. The tone that Hegseth adopted this time around reflects a relationship with China, which is still being redefined. He talked about how relations are constructive, that China is possibly a partner, and that communications between the two sides are open.
Bloomberg's Haslinda Amin on Bloomberg This Weekend. Hegseth did not mention Taiwan in his speech, which is a red line for China and marked a major shift in tone. NATO Defense Chief Admiral Giuseppe Cavaldragone is also at that summit and talked about Europe's response to President Trump's demand to pay more for defense and its relationship with the Pentagon. He says it's stable.
We had a strong commitment in The Hague to reach the 5% by 2035. We have a NATO defense planning process to give us the capability that we need, and we will acquire that in time. So I think we are in a good shape.
Dragone telling Bloomberg they're drama-free on the military side, too. President Trump's latest physical results say he remains in excellent health. A White House doctor says Trump aced his cognitive exam and is fully fit to carry out all duties as commander-in-chief. Questions about Trump's health have been heightened by cognitive concerns, visible signs of aging like swelling and bruising, and his actual age. Trump will be 80 next month. The Trump administration says it plans to appeal a judge's authority to order refunds on all tariffs ruled illegal by the Supreme Court. Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi has details.
The Justice Department filed notice Friday that it will appeal a court order compelling customs authorities to recalculate all import taxes that the administration collected under President Trump's use of a 1970s-era emergency powers law. U.S. Customs and Border Protection launched a new online portal to process refund claims, signaling that it intended to repay at least some of the approximately $166 billion in levies struck down by the Supreme Court earlier this year. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
Meta and Google have agreed to pay about $27 million to settle a lawsuit with a school district in Kentucky that claims their addictive social media platforms help create a teen mental health crisis. The settlements allowed the companies to avert trial, but this is just one of more than 1,000 similar suits nationwide. And Yum Brands could sell Pizza Hut soon. Its sales have consistently lagged behind sister chains Taco Bell and KFC, and Yum says it's drawing takeover interest. Sources tell Bloomberg the company's entered exclusive talks with equity firm LongRange Capital, but there's no price or guarantee for a deal. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has now signed a bill banning law enforcement officers from wearing masks while on duty.
New York is not a sanctuary for criminals, and we will cooperate when crimes are being committed, going after dangerous criminals. Not the act of crossing the border, but dangerous criminals.
The new law also limits law enforcement helping ICE agents in federal immigration efforts. The Carolina Hurricanes will face the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Final after beating Montreal last night. It'll be their first final since 2006. And later tonight, the New York Knicks will find out who they'll play in the NBA Finals when the San Antonio Spurs take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. That series is tied up at 3 games apiece. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.